Good afternoon and happy Earth Day. Thank you all for being here. Great to celebrate the Earth today and celebrate it with a dear friend who we're going to talk quite a bit about. I want to first introduce all of our dignitaries and guests who are here with us. Supervisor Lupinacci, Councilwoman Sergel, Councilman Smith. Councilman Cook sends his regrets. He'll be back tomorrow, but was not able to make it. Highway Superintendent Kevin Orelli, Receiver of Taxes Jillian Guthman, our guest of honor Joy Squires, her son David Squires. Thank you, David, for being here. Elwood School Board members, Vice President Heather Mamalito and School Board member Deborah Weiss. Thank you for being here. Tony Aloisio, our Director of Planning. Margot Miles, our, I guess we call her semi-retired Senior Environmental Analyst. All of our friends, and I wish we had a list, I'm sorry, but all of our friends on the Conservation Board, the Open Space Board, the Trails Committee, thank you all for being here. And I know that there are members of the staff from our Planning Environmental Department. We have park stewards from our Park Steward program, and we have just, what a great crowd. It's just great to look out at you. Some of Joy's former teaching colleagues, and from the Suffolk County Police Department, Jamie Wustenhoff and Alyssa Doherty, did I say that right? Dowdy, sorry about that. We are here today to celebrate Joy Squires, and what an appropriate thing on Earth Day 2021. Her dedication and commitment to conservation and the environment in Huntington is unsurpassed, clearly. We specifically chose Earth Day to rename this park because I don't think anyone exemplifies better the meaning of caring for our Earth than Joy. She's served on so many boards and worn so many hats for the town of Huntington. She's been a member of the Conservation Board since 1974. When I was 8 years old, you joined that board, Joy. You've been the chair of that board since 1979. In 1998, at the behest of then Supervisor Frank Petrone, she became the chairperson of the Huntington Environmental Open Space and Park Review Board, where she has shepherded, believe it or not, $60 million worth of funding and programming to acquire new parkland. You could give that a hand for sure. To make wonderful park improvements that we couldn't begin to list now, and to implement neighborhood enhancement and green energy projects. She just has been, unsurpassed when it comes to that. Her service also includes at the state level, believe it or not. She was the president of the New York State Association of Conservation Commissions since 1989. She was so effective and respected that she held the office of president for 30 years for that state association. She retired just last year from that. In 2001, she was presented at their annual conference with the Marjorie Sachs Service Award for Lifelong Environmental Concern and Service. She represented Huntington for decades on the Suffolk County Council on Environmental Meetings. When we wanted to dedicate a park in Joy's name, we thought it was appropriate to be in the Elwood School District where she taught. So she has just a tremendous legacy to the environment, but one that is equaled by her legacy to the children. Maybe they're not children now, but the students of the Elwood School District. It was at a hike at this park where the concept of creating a trails committee was born, and we have such great trails in our town. The idea was, among the ideas about that was to advertise them and let people know that there are these hidden gems out here in the town where you can walk and be at one with nature. So it's so fitting that today we are going to name the loop trail here the Joy Trail, because it'll bring your memory and joy to so many. Joy, thank you. When people see the name, we know that they will think of you and the hard work that you've done and your work as a school teacher from 1969 to 1995 in the Elwood School District. And she was able to combine her love for the environment in the classroom as well, and still continues to educate us in the town as an environmental on, an advisor on environmental issues. So I want to call up my colleagues to say a few words, and then we will have a very special dedication. So let me call up Supervisor Lupinacci.
Good afternoon, and it's an honor to be here to honor Joy and all of her dedication and service. And I just want to thank my colleagues and Councilman Cuthbertson for really spearheading this and how appropriate it is today. And I just want to thank Joy personally, because when I was elected supervisor back in 2017 and taking office in 2018, she was instrumental in making sure I was up to speed and came to visit me in my office to make sure I knew how ESPA operated and all the work that the Conservation Committee, and then she came again and again, and really was great because with her fortitude and her knowledge really gave me the background that I needed to make sure that we had the proper support in place and that we were doing all that we could do to continue her legacy in terms of acquiring open space, preserving our environment, and improving the green space in our town, and that we want to thank you for. And as was mentioned, she spent over 2.5 decades in the classroom, inspiring many generations of children as a teacher and also a science coordinator, but then also had a huge impact at almost every level of government, whether it was the town, the county, and the state, as we heard, and really to inspire and to preserve for generations to come. So thank you, Joy, for all you do and continue to do. I know you stepped down as chair, but you're going to continue to serve on ESPA, and you're one of the founding members, so you could be there as long as you want. So congratulations to you and the family, to your former students who were very lucky to have you in the classroom, and to the Elwood School District and to our towns. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Joan Sergel.
Thank you, Councilman Cuthbertson, Supervisor Lupinacci. I'm just loving this day so much, and a lot of it comes from my own adoration for this lady, Joy Squires. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my experiences with her. You've heard about all of her very auspicious work over the years, but I'm just going to tell you about some personal reflections. First off, that when Councilman Cuthbertson told me of his intention to rename this park and its trail for Joy Squires, two thoughts struck me at once. What a brilliant idea to honor such a brilliant woman. And two, and I'm not going to lie here, why didn't I think of this first? But I'm so glad Mark did, because no one can touch Joy when it comes to the volunteer work she has done for this town, for its residents in so many ways, on so many levels, for so many years. We're talking 40 plus, and so very quietly. That's right, Joy is an open space parks rock star who is directly responsible for the hundreds of acres of parks and trails we love and enjoy today. And as we all know, we appreciated and enjoyed so much more during this pandemic. But she's never looked for fanfare. That's because Joy's joy has been to watch others delight in the open spaces and places her beautiful heart, mind, and hand have touched and have made possible. Joy's selflessness is matched only by her deep knowledge and passion for conservation, along with her ability to work with and inspire others to follow in her prolific and still ongoing journey. I met Joy nearly 20 years ago after joining former Supervisor Frank Patrone's staff and being assigned, among other things, to attend and represent the supervisors at meetings over which Joy presided. She had me at hello. And while Joy was leading the conversation about preserving Huntington's open spaces and endangered places, guess what? She was also talking about smart growth. Because this preservation guru knows that in spite of what some believe, smart conservation and economic development go hand in hand as partners, and they don't have to be adversaries. Smart thinking, smart ideas, smart everything, and light years ahead of her time. And for that, we owe a debt of gratitude for Joy, for showing us the way. She is literally and figuratively a trailblazer. And that's why I'm a little jelly that, as the only woman on the town board, didn't think of the idea first. But I digress. And we'll sum up here to add what I believe makes Joy so endearing and so incredibly loved. In all of her work and with all of her great knowledge and leadership, Joy has spent a lifetime listening to others, respectful of their opinions, ideas, and even contrasting views, always smiling, welcoming, and graciously pulling up a chair for the newbies to sit at her table, to learn, like she did for me in 2002. Her great skills as an elementary school teacher and administrator lend perfectly to her conservation prowess. I believe that behind those smiling eyes is a teacher who sees the child in all of us, with all of the possibilities, the wonder, the limitless thinking and yearning to learn. And Joy knows just how to draw that out, to take us to places we never expected to go. Because after all, no matter how old we grow, parks are a place to play for our children and for us, even as adults, again and again. That's Joy's special and secret sauce. Congratulations, special lady.
Joan mentioned smart growth. I want to acknowledge our friend Eric Alexander who's here, and former Councilman Ken Christensen, who is here. Thank you, Ken, so much. What a legacy in our town that he has. Joan mentioned that I thought of this idea. I just have to tell you, Joan, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Let me call up our friend, Deputy Supervisor and Councilman Ed Smith.
Thank you, Councilman Cuthbertson. Joy, it is a joy to be here. It's an appropriate tribute to you and all the good works that you have done for the town of Huntington. And as we continue to acquire open space in the town, we will think of you while we're doing it. So thank you for everything that you've done for the town, and have a great day. Happy Earth Day, everyone.
Highway Superintendent Kevin Orelli, you want to say a word? Sure, I'll say something.
Yeah. Hi, Joy. It's nice to see you today. I'm very happy to be here with everyone. So one of the things I really like to say is I grew up in Huntington, and where I lived, I could walk for probably a mile and a half through the woods, and that's all gone now. And so being here and seeing what you've helped to accomplish is really a very special thing for the town and for the kids that grow up here, because I remember camping in the woods and hiking and riding horses and doing many of the things that are no longer there in my neighborhood. So it's really nice to see that you've been able to preserve these things in many of the places in town. So thank you, Joy. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Tax receiver Jillian Guthman.
Thank you, Mark. Every year, Mark Cuthbertson does something really phenomenal to recognize Earth Day. But I have to say, this year, Mark takes the cake. This is phenomenal. So well deserved. In my over 20 years of serving the town of Huntington in different capacities, Joy, you have been a fixture, advocating for open space, pushing the town forward, being that support, and really working so hard without any compensation to make this community the special place that it is. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done for all of these years. It's overwhelming to think of the fortitude and the longevity of your service, and you are a role model for all of us. Thank you, and I wish you all the best as you continue to serve the town of Huntington.
Thank you, Jill. Before I call up our friends from the school district, I want to former supervisor Petrone texted me and wanted to pass along his best wishes. And I have to say, Joy, when it came to Frank, we all know Frank could dig his heels in. And there were sometimes ideas with open space that Frank maybe wasn't receptive to. And that's when it required Joy's soft touch to go in there and convince him why this was a good idea. And I saw that in play on any number of occasions and always enjoyed her getting the best of him. With that, let me call up our friends who have a special presentation from the Elwood School Board Vice President Heather Mamalito and School Board Member Deborah Weiss.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Joy. So my name is Heather Mamalito. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the Vice President of the Elwood Board of Education. Dr. Bossert sends his apologies for not being able to attend this wonderful event, as he's currently in Albany representing us. On behalf of the board, my colleague Mrs. Weiss and I would like to thank the Huntington Town Board and everyone else involved in this amazing event for allowing us to recognize Mrs. Joy Squires. Although I personally did not know Mrs. Squires, I certainly have had the pleasure of hearing about all of the wonderful contributions that you have made to both the Huntington community and the Elwood School District. Mrs. Squires worked in Elwood from 1969 to 1995 as an elementary school teacher in Harley Avenue and Boyd Intermediate. She was also the district's elementary school science coordinator. Mrs. Squires created an ecological laboratory and an elementary science lab. She was a finalist in the New York State Teacher of the Year and Suffolk County Elementary Science Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Squires is certainly held in high regard amongst the education community and is known as one of the most impactful teachers in our district. I also saw a comment somewhere that people in their late 40s, maybe early 50s, still remember your snowflake song that you taught them back in Harley Avenue. So kudos to you for that really sticking in and being so impactful. So on behalf of the Elwood Board of Education, we would like to present you with a certificate and a small token of our appreciation. This is a little honor on behalf of the school district. Well done.
To continue on, we have a couple of things for you, Joy, from the town board. And we have the resolution renaming the park, but I see that it's not certified. So we're going to have our town clerk, Andrew Rea, get you a certified resolution. I know you're a dear friend of his, and he passes along his regards. We have the proclamation that we put together a long time ago that recognizes your achievements with the town that we weren't able to present because of the pandemic. And then for you to take home the sign that's here at Squires Nature Park, and we're going to unveil the big one, the Joy Trail dedication, April 22nd, 2001. I'd ask my colleagues to join me in presenting that.